Hello everyone, I hope that you are all doing well. This is me Syed Shujatullah. Today we are going to see very important concepts related to external or foreign sector of economy. In this video lecture, you are going to learn how exchange rate of one country's currency is determined with respect to other country's currency. Whether a country's currency exchange rate is individually determined with each country or whether a country's currency exchange rate is determined with a group of trading partners that it has imports and exports. What is the size of the group? All the things we are going to learn in this lecture. Okay, so I'll make myself small. Let us see that. Before learning the concepts, okay, let us see what concepts we are actually learning in this video lecture. Nominal exchange rate. Nominal exchange rate. This is the concept that we are going to learn. Real exchange rate, another concept we are going to learn. Nominal exchange rate. One time I will write, then I can put this. Then real exchange rate. Then effective exchange rate. Effective exchange rate. Very lucidly, very simple, I will explain to you all these concepts and you will never forget it, I guarantee that. So then we are having near nominal effective exchange rate. Okay, then we are having rare, very important two terminologies that you see in the news every other day, and it is also mentioned in the economic survey of 2021. Real effective exchange rate. All these concepts we are going to learn in this video. Okay. Before going into the discussion of these concepts, you should know how the prices changes, how the prices changes with regard to one country. Okay. See, I have to tell you this. The price of commodities, generally, whether it increases or decreases, the price levels of commodities changes due to two important factors. One is, to produce this commodity, the cost of production has increased. That is why there will be a change in price of that commodity, or 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 there is a huge demand of this commodity, or there is a huge demand of this commodity. In these both cases, what will happen? You will see what? Increase in prices of commodity. Okay. Suppose if you are manufacturing pen. Pen is usually you are selling the pen at 10 rupees. But what happened? Your labor, your employees, your laborers asked the management to go for revision of their wages and salaries. So what you have done is you have increased their wages by 5%. You have increased their wages by 5%. And what with that increase in the wages by 5%, what happened? Your cost of production increased by 5%. Your cost of production increased by how much? 5%. So this cost of production, again, you will try to cover in your price of the product or not? Yes. So now, because there is an increase in the wages and salaries of the laborers, okay, your cost of production has increased. That's why instead of selling the pen at 10 rupees, after revising their pay, okay, you will include the extra increment that you have done with regard to wages and salaries of the employees. So 5% is nothing but you can I have to take this in bigger ones. 10% means 10% here means 1 rupee extra. Okay. 10% means 1 rupee, 20% means 2 rupee, 30% means 3 rupee, like that. So 10 rupees means 100%. So what is the increase in salaries and wages? 10% I told. 10% means now I am going to sell my pen at 11 rupees, right or wrong? Yes. So your price level changes when there is a change in what? Cost of production. Let's suppose it may happen, this is a case of increase in prices. It may happen that the raw materials like plastic, whatever, the ink, whatever you are using to manufacture the pen, using to manufacture the pen, the prices of this decreased. Because of the decreased prices of these raw materials, your cost of production also decreased. Before you are selling the pen at 10 rupees, because of decreased cost of production, you will sell at 9 rupees, right? This is a situation of deflation. This is a situation of inflation. I hope you got it, how price level changes. Not only this is from the cost of production point of view, the price level increases or decreases. Another important aspect here is price level changes also because of demand and supply. Also because of demand and supply. Suppose A is producing jalebis, a very sweet jalebis. Okay. B wants these jalebis. B wants these jalebis. Okay. Suppose A have produced 100 jalebis as a cost of 1 rupees and give it to B. A has given 100 jalebis. Okay, one jalebi is 1 rupee, so B has given what, 100 rupees. A is very happy. Okay, I got my money. Fine. In the next month, B have placed an order of 200 rupees, 200 jalebis. Sorry, 200 jalebis. Then A told, no, I'm not going to sell you every jalebi at 1 rupees. I'm going to sell one jalebi at the cost of 1.5 rupees. At the cost of 1.5 rupees, because for you it is a very mandatory commodity. Just like for India, petrol is mandatory, right? You cannot do anything with regard to petrol. Okay, whatever the prices are there in the global market, India has to bow down for that prices, and we have to buy the petrol, or you can say crude oil, in a very proper language, because we cannot run our economy without the import of this petrol or crude oil, whatever it is, right? So here also you can assume that B definitely wants jalebi. Without jalebi, B will not survive. So whatever the price I am offering, they have to buy. So 200 jalebis B asked, 200 into 1.5, it will become how much? 250. Before, B was taking every unit of jalebi at 1 rupee. Now B is taking every unit of jalebi at 1.5 rupees. Why this change in price? Why this change in price? This change in price is because there is a huge demand of the products manufactured in the A country. Huge demand of the products manufactured in the A country. So I hope you have got till here. So what actually I have discussed till now is why price level changes. Why price level changes? There are two reasons for that. One is because of demand or no demand. No demand means prices decreases, or you can say less demand, prices decreases, or if it is more demand, prices increases. Okay, change in prices may happen because of what? Demand. Another one is change in prices, whether increase in prices or decrease in prices. This also happens. Okay, because of what? Change in the prices of raw materials, or decrease or increase of cost of production. Decrease or increase of cost of production will also lead to price level changes. Price level changes. So till now I think you have got it. Now let us relate this concept with our exchange rate. I'll tell you everything. Please have some patience. Now country A is there, country B is there. Country A's currency is tomato, country B's currency is potato. Okay. Now country A is producing what? Pen. Producing pen. And B wants this pen. B wants this pen. Then country A will say that 10 pens, or in my country 10 pens are equal to 20 tomatoes. 20 tomatoes. It means then you have to fix your price with regard to potatoes or not. Okay. You have to fix your price with regard to potatoes or not. Yes. Then I will tell that 2 tomatoes is equals to 1 potato. 2 tomatoes is equals to 1 potato. Like that I will tell to the B country. So B country wants no, I will fix the price. I will say, because he is demanding no, then I will be in the better position. A country is in the better position because B is demanding, B country is demanding the products of A. Then A says that 2 tomatoes is equals to 1 potato, or other way around you can say 1 tomato is equals to 2 potato, because A is at the upper hand, no, so we will take in a proper way. 1 tomato is equals to 2 potato. Okay, so in our country, in the A country, 10 pence are equal to 20 tomatoes. 10 pence are equal to 20 tomatoes. It means how many potatoes have to be given? 40 potatoes or not. 40 potatoes should be given to A country to buy how many pence? 10 pence. To buy how many pence? 10 pence. Means 20 tomatoes are equal to 40 potatoes or not? Yes. 40 potatoes are not? Yes. Okay. Means 20 units of tomatoes are equal to 40 units of potatoes. Means for every tomato, 1 unit of tomato, B country have to give 2 units of potato. 2 units of potato. This is how exchange rates are determined. The country which is actually exporting, no, if that particular country will determine the exchange rate of other country, because the country which is asking, like here B wants that particular pens. B wants the pens because B for pens are very important to the B, just like for India oil is very important. Then Iran, Saudi and all that, they may say that we are not going to sell the oil to you at 60 rupees, we are going to sell oil to you 70 rupees, you take it or you leave it. Then government of India does what? Yes, yes, we will keep it. Okay, so why it is? Because of the more and more demand is there. Because of what? More and more demand of petrol is there with respect to what? India is demanding more petrol, that's why they are able to charge, okay, more also. Okay, means before how many rupees we are spending, now we have to spend more if they changes their prices level. This is one, because we are demanding more, they may increase their prices. Another is their cost of production might have increased, and they may set to increase to the India that no, our cost of production has increased. Okay, that's why we are not going to sell you at 60 rupees, we are going to sell you at 70 rupees per barrel. Okay, then also we have to say, okay, because we need it. Okay, it could be any reason. That's why I told you that whenever exchange rates are determined, it is demand and supply of the product, and cost of production in domestic country which is exporting the product is also important. I hope that you have got all of this. Okay, if not, you can ask me again in the WhatsApp. Fine. Now let us go ahead with the concept. Nominal exchange rate, sorry, real exchange rate, effective exchange rate. What is the meaning of nominal exchange rate? Nominal exchange rate is nothing but 1 unit of, not like that, how many units of domestic currency have to be spent to buy a unit of foreign currency. How many unit of domestic currency have to be spent to buy a unit of foreign currency? Is just like a barter system of our olden days, barter system. Okay, A is a producer of tomatoes, B is a producer of chicken. B tells that give me 10 tomatoes. B tells that okay, give me 250 grams of chicken. Okay, right? So 250 grams of chicken, you cannot understand this way. Let us see 2 leg pieces. Give me 2 leg pieces. So 10 tomatoes is equals to 2 leg pieces. 5 tomatoes will be equal to what? 1 leg piece or not? It means if he shells out 5 units of tomatoes, then he will get 1 unit of leg piece. Nothing but 1 unit you can replace with 100 grams, like that. If you shell out 5 units of tomatoes, you will get what? 100 grams. Nothing but 100 grams here is what? 1 unit. Nothing but 100 grams of chicken. Just like what happened in the ancient time is being discussed here also. Okay, means how many units of a domestic currency have to be spent to buy a unit of foreign currency. Okay, here we will see that like rupee is there and dollar is there. Dollar is actually 70 rupees. Okay, 1 unit of dollar. $1 if you want to buy. 1 unit means $1. 2 unit means $2. 3 unit means $3. So let us take the example of 1 unit. 1 unit means $1. To buy $1, how many rupees have to be spent? Almost around. I'm just trying to give you a normal value. Exactly, you can. It's not exact value. 70 rupees we have to shell out. Means 70 units of rupee have to be shelling out. Means we have to spend to buy 1 unit of dollar. Nothing but $1. This is called as exchange rate. This is called as exchange rate, and this exchange rate is determined on the basis of what? Demand and supply, just now whatever we have learned, and also on the cost of production in the America. Cost of production in the America. Okay, means there, if in America the price list are increasing, means you will see what? Increase exchange rate. Means $1 70 rupees will become $1 80 rupees. $1 80 rupees, because they are selling us in more money. They are selling us in more money. If anything happens in their country, if their price increases in their countries with regard to raw material, with regard to revision of their wages and salaries, due to some reason, if the price increased in the domestic in America, we'll see that there is a difference in the exchange rate. Okay, or else if we demand more and more also, what generally will happen? Again, we have to common sense. If anybody is asking you more and more money, then you are going to give on higher interest rate, right or wrong? In the same way, if India is asking give us more and more crude oil, like that, then of course, because of more demand also, prices may increase. Okay, they may change the $1 is equal to 75 rupees also. That's not an issue. That is very common thing. That is called as nominal exchange rate. Nominal exchange rate. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of real exchange rate? Real exchange rate is very simple. It does not deals with deals in monetary value. It is a very different concept, which says that how many units of goods are bought in a domestic country. Okay, how many units of goods are bought in a domestic country relative to goods bought in foreign country. Okay, like in India, pen, pencil, rubber, sharpener, all of these you are getting at 200 rupees. The same pen, pencil, rubber, sharpener in USA, they are getting in how many units? We are getting in 200 units. They may get in 20 units. They may get in 20 units. Okay, so the price of the basket of commodities, okay, the relative prices of basket of commodities, we will try to understand with the help of what? Real exchange rate. How much money we have to spend, means how much money we have to spend to buy basket of goods. Okay, and how much units of money that they are going to spend to buy the same units, or the same items. This is called as real exchange rate. Real exchange rate. Effective exchange rate is nothing but when you are taking, when you are at, see, when India is trading, India trades with many countries, right? So if we just determine the exchange rate with only with USA, whether the price levels, because we don't import one good for only from one country. If it is so, then we would have fixed one currency with one country. One exchange rate will be fixed with one country, but it's not like that. No. So we'll take petrol from Saudi, we'll take petrol from USA, we'll take petrol from Iran. So if we fix with only one country, then that will not determine the actual exchange rate, right or wrong? Okay, that's why we will generally try to fix exchange rates with a group of countries, currencies. Okay, to avoid, because the price level, if the price level in Iran changes, does not reflect in the exchange rate of rupee, right or wrong? Why? Because only price level changes in Iran, how it is going to affect our exchange rate? No. If price level in Iran, Saudi, Qatar, Bahrain, Nigeria, whoever are supplying us the petrol, if there is a price changes in all of these country, and if we take the average change of prices in all of these country, then we can determine easily our exchange rate or not. Yes, then we will say that no, we will pay this much for this particular thing because the average price rise is this much. Then they will also agree and we will trade in that way. We'll trade in that way. Okay, so this concept is related to how many units of domestic currency have to be spent to buy the foreign currency. This concept, real exchange rate, refers to how many units of currency we have to spend to buy a basket of commodities, and with in relation to how many units of currency the foreign country have to spend to buy same number of items. Okay, same number of items. Effective exchange rate is nothing but you cannot have only one exchange rate with one country, because one country's price level increase decrease does not actually affect your exchange rate. Okay, it has to be what group of countries which are supplying the same product to a domestic country, then only you will see a proper exchange rate revisions will be there, otherwise not possible. Now we are having nominal exchange effective rates. Okay, here generally in nominal exchange effective rate is nothing but weight average of all trading partners. Weight average of all trading partners. Like suppose India is there. India imports petrol. India imports petrol from USA, from UK, from Iran, from Saudi Arabia, etc. Let us suppose for our convenience, India imports petrol only from two countries, and 60% of the petrol is imported from our 60% of our requirements are fulfilled by USA, 40% of our requirements of petrol are fulfilled by UK. Then what generally we do in nominal effective exchange rate? Okay, as because we are having, first of all we will determine the exchange rate with USA. Let's suppose it is 50 rupees, now 44 rupees. Okay, because I have done the calculation, so in that way we'll understand. USA, for UK let's suppose it is 85. Okay, this is our exchange rate, this is our nominal exchange rate. USA, for $1 45 rupees 44 rupees we have to spend. From 1 euro, for 1 euro we have to spend 85 rupees. So what generally we'll do, as because we are doing more trade with USA, how much we are doing? Okay, this we take in decimals, we will not take in 100, we'll take in like 0.6, like 0.4, like that we'll take, and 1 is considered as 100 here, 1 is considered as 100. So what do we do is, with USA we are doing 60, no? So 44 is the exchange rate with USA dollar, with Indian currency. 44 into 6, 0.6 plus 85 into 0.4. Okay, weight averages means highest amount of petrol is given to us by USA, that's why we have given more weightage 6, and after that UK is will give you the rest of the requirements are fulfilled by UK, that's why here 40 percentage weightage, here 60 percentage weightage, that's why, but we took in decimals. Okay, it will come to 26.4 and 34.0, and if we do the thing, then 4 6 10, then 3 4 5 6 60.4. Okay, 60.4, this is our exchange rate, this is our exchange rate. With both US and UK we will trade with this only, we will trade with this only, with the petrol we'll deal with this only. Okay, with regard to petrol we will do the exchange rate with this only, this is how we determine. Okay, not with petrol, for any other commodities this will be exchange rate. In the same way generally India trades with like 90% of its total imports India does with only 6 countries. India does with only 6 countries. So I have just wait for a second, I just open the document, you will know it. Okay, just wait, not this one. Fine. So India trades with this these particular things. Okay. US, Euro, Eurozone. You are having what? US dollar, Eurozone Euro, UK, Japan, China, Renminbi, Japan Yuan, Hong Kong SAR. Hong Kong SAR. These are the six countries. These are the six countries with which okay, with six countries means generally we do lot of imports. 90% of our imports are coming from these six countries. So what do we do is we'll take the weighted average of all six countries, one, two, three, four, five, six, and we will try to put the exchange rate with each and every countries, and we'll take the weighted average. We'll take the weighted average just like how we have done for USA and UK. In the same way, we will add all the six currencies. All the six currencies we will add, and we'll do the weightage also. Then we'll get the ultimate exchange rate we'll get. Ultimate exchange rate we'll get. We do with six countries, and we also do the same thing with 32 countries. In some commodities, we do only with six countries. In some commodities, the exchange rate will be done with 32 countries. 32 countries average weighted average exchange rate we will take. Weighted average exchange rate we will take, and we'll fix our exchange rate. We'll fix our exchange rate. This is called as nominal effective exchange rate. Nominal effective exchange rate. Now we are having real effective exchange rate. The basic definition of this rate is, that is what I have already told you, that to buy a basket of commodities, okay, like pen, pencil, rubber, sharpener, India is spending like almost around 44 rupees. Okay, India, let's suppose India spends around 200 rupees. Okay, whereas for the same pen, pencil, rubber sharpener, this is India, pen, pencil, rubber sharpener, USA spends around $20. $20. The exchange rate, the nominal exchange rate between these two is 44 rupees. 44 rupees. So real formula is nominal exchange rate into the price of commodities bought by India, bought by USA, the price at which India buys the pen, pencil, rubber sharpener, that's 200. Okay, this is very common. No, this we have to put because this is in dollar, this is in rupee. So if we want to make it equal, then you have to use a constant value. The constant value is nothing but here exchange rate. What is the exchange rate here? 44. 44 into 20.20 by 200, which is equals to 4.4. Which is equals to 4.4 from the Indian perspective. From the Indian perspective means one unit of one item of USA, if we want to buy one item of USA, if we want to buy, we have to shell out 4.4 items. We want to shell out 4.4 items. If suppose the 4.4 become 4.8, 5.8, 6 like that, what will happen means the US products are getting costly or not? US products are getting costly or not? Yes. Why? Because for one item we have to shell out 4.4 item. Again, if it is increases for one item, we have to shell out 5.4. Okay, means for every other unit, every other item, what is happening here? We have to shell out more and more. We have to shell out more and more items. In this way, what does we can conclude here is the products of USA are becoming becoming very costly. They are becoming very costly to us. Instead of that, what people will do? People will buy Indian, because in India we are getting more units of products than what we are getting in USA. That's why our exports will be boosted. Our exports will be boosted in what? USA. Because in USA, what generally will happen? The person will think, "Arey, I will get pen, pencil, rubber, sharpener. Okay, I will get here only one item I will get, but if I take from India, I will get four." So they will place order from India, because instead of one unit, he will get 4 units from India. That's why our exports will be boosted. And with that, what is happening, and more exports we are doing, means what? Our products are becoming more and more competitive or not? Yes, means we are trying to capture the market of American country or not. Yes, we are trying to capture the market because instead of they buying in their own country, they are trying to import from our country because their products are getting costly and they are happy to buy our products and they are happy to buy our product. This is the concept of real. Okay, real exchange rate is nothing but again weighted average of all real exchange rates of all trading partners. Here also same. Nominal exchange rate is with all trading partners. Okay, major trading partners. Real exchange effective rate is also with all trading partners. Generally, they take the average. Okay, they takes the average. In nominal exchange effective exchange rate, they will take the average weight of all countries' currency. In real exchange effective rate, they take the same average weight of all real exchange rate, then we'll take the average, of all the currency and we'll add the weightage to them. Okay, and we'll add the weightage to them, then we will try to fix our exchange rate. Okay, and I told you that what is the size of the group. The size of the group could be it is never be bilateral, means India US, India UK, it will not be like that. Generally what will happen, we'll directly have a group of currencies, like 6 currencies have weighted average we will take and we'll fix our exchange rate. Okay, and for 32 currencies also we are having 32 currencies. Why I have explained this concept? The main motto of this concept to explain is you are going to I am going to upload external sector of economic survey 2021. Economic Survey 2021. I am going to upload the external sector of Economic Survey 2021. In this external sector of Economic Survey 2021, you are having these words. These words are mentioned, and if you don't know these words, what will happen is you cannot understand external sector. We have to complete the first part of external sector is completed. We have to complete the second, which will be the final part, okay guys, thanks a lot for hearing to me. If you are having any doubts, I will repeat it. If you are not understanding, please message me, mail me, whatever you want to do, you do, but make the concepts clear. Okay, bye bye, have a nice day.